Good viewers, welcome to Writing Theatre channel. My name is Omojuyigbe, and here in the studio is my co-host
Chukwuka.
You look ravishing today.
Thank you. You look good also.
Oh, thank you. On today's episode, we'll be looking at a very sensitive topic. It's about social media content creation. What is content creation? What is it all about? How do we write content for social media?
We're also looking at also the challenges we'll be facing concerning social media creation, and how to balance being a host and also a social media creator.
In my view, I feel social media is limited to all those mediums, Instagram, but I feel it's more than that.
Yeah, we have YouTube, we have LinkedIn. There are so many social media handles, plenty platforms we can actually use to communicate to people.
So as a media person, is it important to write on such platforms?
Yeah.
I feel such platform is just to share videos and all.
No, it's about writing. You have to know how to write. A good writer can do. You have to know how to write, be able to balance writing.
Probably a writing that will complement the videos and the pictures that have been posted.
Exactly.
On our episode today, our guest is Mr. Oluwatobiloba Adebayo. He's a content creator and a professional event host. We'll go on a short break, and by the time we are back, our guest will be here in the studio with us. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
So please kindly introduce yourself to her.
All right. Hi, my name is Adebayo Oluwatobi Ayobami. I'm popularly known as MC Oloro. Yeah, I'm a professional event host, also a content creator and a filmmaker. And I think that covers it. And an entrepreneur. So it's around.
Yeah. So, Mr. Toby, can you brief us on social media content, what it is, and how to write a content for social media?
So particularly, I think I'm just going to divide it just so we can have a full knowledge of it. So content creation is a process by which you generate or conceptualize a topic idea that appeals to your audience. So it can either be a written or a video content around this idea that you've conceptualized. So you package it into an information and then you make it accessible to your audience. You understand? It's super wide actually. Content creation can be likened to, advertisement. It can be likened to news and, infographics and the likes of them. Back in the days, I used to be a copywriter for an advert agency, and we were like the backbone of that agency because we were the ones saddled with the responsibility of writing the whole concept. How we want the advert to be. What you see on the TV for like 30, 45 seconds, sometimes you spend days trying to write it. Yeah, so content creation is very deep and it's all around. That's the same way we have it for the news part. Do we get it? So that's it.
So, if we were to look at what you just said,
all right.
How do we write a content for social media?
Okay, professionally, there are like ways, but we really do not have the time. So I'm going to somewhat, shorten it. Writing content for social media. There is a way you write content for news, you write content for adverts, you write content for this and all of that. And to add a little joke, there's a way guys will write content also for the girl they want to toast. So content is everything. So particularly when you're writing the content for social media, there are a few things you put in mind. Number one is to do the research. Research is super, super important. You need to understand your audience, what really appeals to them. If you really want that desired engagement on your post or your content or whatever it is you're putting out there, because the main aim of content creation is to induce sales and patronage, you get. So if you want people to come to you and come to your brand more, you need to research what really works for them, the demographic, who am I targeting and all of that, the price of my, you do all this research and all of that. So number two, I think I'm just going to give out 3 tips or 4. Number 2, after doing the research, the next thing you do that is very, very important is actually to do your KISS principle. It's keeping it simple and short. It's very important. I'm going to use the KISS principle because it encompasses a lot. In the sense that whatever you're creating, always remember that your audience don't have all the time in the world. That's why back in the days in adverts, we used to say something that the first 7.5 seconds that matter. Because if I'm watching anything for 7.5 seconds and it doesn't, attract my attention, I leave it.
Yes.
So we do it like you have to keep your content as simple, very informative, of course, and short. Do you understand? And the next one you do, which is also equally important, is actually to do a call to action. I'm trying to make it short because of our time. The call to action is the same way, back in the days when we used to watch all these Yoruba movies, and they would say, what's it called? Grab your copy.
Now.
Call to action. So that means if you don't grab it today and grab it tomorrow, is the problem. You have to grab it now. Call to action. Haven't done your research, conceptualized your idea, giving all of those many principles into it, keeping it simple and short, because there is power in simplicity. Very, very powerful. So when you keep all of this content together, and then the next thing is just, call them to action. Buy this for get 5 pieces for 3,000 or something. Do something and angle that, drive them in, and that's that. So with these tips, I think you can write very well for social media.
Okay, so what are challenges you face while writing this content? Social media content in particular.
Okay, the challenges, they are like enormous actually. I have to just, Also, I was supposed to add something to the tips of writing, which is also important in today's world, which is you need to learn how to use images, videos, and audio very well. If you want to be a good content creator on this platform that we share, this Obasanjo internet, you need to really, really learn to use all these elements. You need to learn how to use a trending audio, which are really affect you. Already know about hashtags and all of that.
Yes.
So you need to know that. That's the reason when you see people take pictures. You can take a picture of me sitting like this, and another person will take a picture of me sitting like this. It will be different, 2 different angles. People are particular about the kind of image they put out there. Do you understand? The audio at the same time, you want to use one of the trendy audios also. Even if I don't like what you are doing, but because I like the audio underground, I'm going to listen to it. And then images and videos, clips and excerpts from videos and so on. So back to the challenges that we face as content, creators and writers. One of the biggest problems we face is actually writer's block. It's one of the problems that plagues lots of writers and creators. That's also, you are just blank, unable to either go forward or backward. You're in the limbo. You don't know. It happens a lot. What I do personally, because I can't just say writer's block and not say what I particularly do. I just watch movies. I just try to take my mind off it. So one of the challenges we really face is writer's block. Okay, we have the idea. Maybe a client reaches out to you and say, this phone, this particular phone used to be 120,000, but now I want to sell it for 80,000. And my competitor is selling it for 50,000, but I still need to sell it for 80,000 because it's better. Now I am in the, what's it called, a limbo of me trying to impress my client and at the same time sell his product. But then at the same time, I know that there's a competitor somewhere who is selling what I want to sell less. All of these elements you need to really think a strategic way to push. That's how. So that writer's block, if you're not moving at all, my dear, people go like, leave everything and just watch movies and wherever you get. So, and another thing that plagues us, or let's say as a challenge that we face as content creators and writers, is the feedback. People we often feel that feedbacks are very easy. They're just things that, I don't like. No, feedbacks are very heavy. Imagine you being in a room creating content for 3-4 hours. A content of 10 seconds for 3-4 hours. Then you send it to the client and then they give you feedback and say, I don't feel it. And like, I'm not, digging. I'd be like, I spent hours on this. And some clients can be very, very rude. And they will give it some, there are different kinds of feedbacks.
Of course.
There can be a very well, positive feedback, let me put it that way. And sometimes if it goes the other way, you can be critical and at the same time be reasonable with it. So when we get feedback that we did not really expect, it can break down your walls and, suppress you sort of creatively. So that's another problem we face. Particularly even me, and I want to create anything for anyone, be it I'm writing for advert because I still do copywriting as a freelancer for some advertising agencies. So if I'm writing or creating content for social media or anything, I try to take my time to make sure that I'm working in line with the frame of what my clients really want because of their feedbacks. So feedback can actually generalize it. And just to wrap it up, the third one that is another challenge that we face as copywriters is actually the addiction. Okay.
Addiction.
Yeah, it's the addiction. Social media is addictive.
Yes.
Very, very addictive. I remember there was a time in my life I said, anytime I wake up, very first thing I'm going to do is to pray for maybe like it's a lie. The first thing I carry is my phone.
And
It's almost impossible. You're like, okay, not like you still will not join those prayers and all. But what you just want to do, just like see, oh, it's like 174 notifications, be like, oh, Holy Spirit, forgive me. And just okay, let me pray. It can be very addictive that when you are not when you don't learn to prioritize, you won't know, the time flies. When you hold your phone and whatever you're doing, that creating or you're surfing through the web, you could spend hours upon hours and you wouldn't know you've gone actually like 3-7 hours or whatever, and still be on your bed, not have your bath, not eat or anything. So that's it's a challenge. So that's one of the things I tell social media creators, that try as much as you can to prioritize it so you don't get addicted to it, so you can do it in moderation. So I hope that helps.
Yes.
All right.
So it will be better for content creators to prioritize.
Exactly. That's it.
So, well, Mr. Toby, how do you manage being a professional event host and content writer? How do you manage both?
Okay, professionally, I've been an MC for about 8-10 years now. Professionally,
Wow.
Yeah, I've been in it longer actually. But I would say professionally, I took it for about 8 years, I think, and God has been very faithful. It's most weekends I'm booked, not some weekends. Most, my calendar is probably like booked from now to like September. I have stuff I need to do, but at the same time, I have commitment to some of my clients on things I need to create for them and all of that. Like I said, it's very, very key. I work with it a lot. I have a board in my house that is my to-do. Even if I'm going to do anything outside the frame of what I did not plan, I would at least work with what I have planned on my board. So I don't wake up in the day after doing all of them. I still write. If it's just 3 major things I need to do, they become my priorities. So once I do these things, then I can do other things. So if I have an event, I can have an event and be creating content at that moment.
Yeah, it's not.
So I try to give them their space. I've been able to make them a different entity. This is my brand as an MC. This is my brand as a creator. This is the time. Sometimes they reach out and be like, Toby, can you be ready? Sometimes they break the rules. Trust me, you don't have the choice when clients are really on you. But most times I tell them, this time I cannot do this. So you have to work with me. So I make sure I deliver whatever I say I want to deliver. So for that reason, I try to prioritize. This is my brand as an MC. This is my brand as a creator. On Monday, I create. On Tuesday, I do. So no matter what you do, you can't call me to come and create the content on a Saturday when I'm already getting ready for a show.
You're saying you will not go? You won't go?
Actually, there are standards to this thing. Trust me, I've seen some of my bosses turn down millions of naira just because they have principles. I'm not saying, some of us are still growing, of course. But when they already know your what, clients will work with you. When they know what you can deliver, that's one thing. So as a content creator, if I know that, oh, this is something I could do that won't take much of my time rather, I could, compromise. And like, oh, I could do it right, maybe I'm driving, I just park, I just quickly do 1 or 2, I can send it to you. But it is something that will likely take remember I said content creation starts with conceptualization. If it's going to take my time to conceptualize the idea, to put it together, to create, then I'm going to reschedule with you with a mail. If it works with you, fine. If it doesn't, because I can't disappoint the other client. They paid for the show too. It's not been easy, I won't lie to you. The same way I'm saying it's not like it's actually that easy. So I used to write for Honeywell Flower News. And I know you know Orange, Bam Bam Lala, right?
Yes.
Yeah, my boss wrote Bam Bam Lala. So I used to work with that agency and Orange Drugs and all of that. We did a lot. And I will tell you for one, that there were days that they will call and say, Toby, we need you in the studio on a Saturday. But whenever they call and my boss will be like, Toby cannot be available because he's likely to be on stage. That means you've already set it that this is my boundary. I can't do this. You get. So even if there will be days that you have to compromise, they will know you're doing them a very, very huge favor.
Yes.
That's even if it's convenient for you. So that's how I've been able to. And then also with the help of God, of course, God has been faithful. And that's it.
So with so much being said, it is evident that without writing a content, there's nothing to create.
No, it's not possible. It's not possible. For you to even start anything, start with your mind. Do you get it? Creativity is not until you put flowers and food and put all these things together. No, you have to see it. You know, I have a quote that works for me. I'm a filmmaker, like I said. I've produced a couple of films. I have this thing in my mind. I was taught a long time ago by my mentor. He said, always start with the end in mind. I start with the end in mind. If I'm going to do a content, for instance, I already know how it ends before I even start. So all of these things, it has to do with your brain. Even before you write, before you don't start. One of the main reasons why we have writer's block is because sometimes we don't think about the end. We just like, you meet me halfway, but it doesn't every time. So I work with the end in mind. You cannot have a content without proper creation of it in your mind. So I have to play it. If you see me creating something, you think I'm mad. I'm serious. Back then in Eneduwa Flower Mills, I would be banging their table like this. And they want to do a revised version. They don't want it to sound that way. So my boss will say, what can we do? And I start doing, though they will still recreate the jingle, but you as a writer, in your head, you're already thinking like, okay, if I start this way, it should end this way. So with that end in mind already, I am good. So I won't have too much obstructions in the middle because I already know how my story ends. Does that make sense to you?
So it's beautiful listening to you and enlightening us on what social media content creation and writing is all about.
So what's your advice to upcoming content creators?
All right, my advice to all upcoming content creators is you have to work with your conviction. It's very important. Conviction is usually without proper conversion and conduct. You need to be very, very convinced that you want to do this. It is tough. There is nothing on earth that is easy. Trust me, sometimes you just want to drop everything. Not because we work mostly on our phones and the gadgets and all of that makes it easy. No, it is super tough. You must be ready to pay the price. Continuity in spite of difficulties. Because sometimes you want to create something, even sometimes you would create something so beautiful. Imagine you doing a video and having edited and all of that and you're so proud of it. Then you just push it out there and boom. You see just about 3 likes and maybe like 10 views or something. And you've done everything. Instagram will frustrate you at some point for payment. Sometimes you would have issues even with conversion and all of this. So you need to understand how this business works. It is not a business for the faint-hearted. You must be able to encourage yourself. If you're looking to having 1 or 2 persons push you every time, my dear, you cannot do it, it's a lie. You have to be able to do it for yourself. No one is doing anything for you. You gotta be able to do it for yourself. It's all about you. Like you have to bear the burden alone. So my advice to all content creators is just to work with your conviction, and I pray God help us all. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Toby, for joining us on the show today. It's been an interesting one with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go on a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Writing Theatre channel. Our guest, Mr. Oluwatobi Lover Adebayo, has enlightened us on content writing and the concept of social media content creation. He has also given us a review and tips on how to write content for social media as well for adverts. He has enlightened us and told us about the various challenges content writer face.
And yes, he talked about how he was able to manage being a host for an event and social media creator. Lastly, he said about advice given to upcoming social media creators, how to manage your time, balance,
priority,
and most importantly.
Thank you for watching. Please kindly like and comment under this episode, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Writing Theatre channel. I remain your host, Oluwaseun Igudobi, and my co-host,
Goodness Chukwuka. Have a lovely day.